Go ahead, Mukul.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Vishesha Shanyavadi Pasyate Sthane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Namacharya Srila Haridasa Thakura, the snake charmer and the king of the snakes. In another incident which involved the king of snakes and a snake charmer, the amazing qualities of Haridasa Thakura were again exhibited. While a snake charmer was practicing his art, Haridasa Thakura came to watch, and while the charmer chanted various mantras, Basuki Nagraj appeared in the snake charmer's body and caused him to dance. As he danced, the Lord of Serpents began to sing about Krishna's dancing on the hoods of Kalia at Kalia Daha lake in the Yamuna. Basuki, through the body of the snake charmer, began to imitate the dancing of Krishna. As Haridas heard the wonderful pastimes of Kalia Krishna, he became overwhelmed with ecstasy, falling unconscious to the ground, and his breathing stopped. He then regained consciousness, leaped to his feet, roaring loudly, and began to dance in great ecstasy. Seeing the wonderful symptoms of ecstasy erupting on the body of Haridas, Ananta Vasuki, manifesting himself in the body of the snake charmer, stood respectfully to one side and watched. Remembering the extraordinary mercy of the Lord to an envious king Kalia who attempted to kill the inhabitants of Vrindavan and Krishna himself, Haridas Thakura was absorbed in love of Krishna, and all those who witnessed the scene began to chant the glories of the Lord. After the Thakura returned to external consciousness, the snake charmer again began to dance. Everyone eagerly began to take the dust from Haridas Thakura's feet and smear it on their bodies. Chapter 5 Solitary Worship of the Lord. An envious Brahmana who had observed the behavior of the Thakura thought that Haridas Thakura was merely an illiterate and foolish person who gained the respect of other ignorant persons by an artificial display of ecstasy. This is a clear example of Atmavan Manyate Jagat. One thinks that others think as he thinks, thinking to take advantage of the situation in a display of imitative behavior. The Sudha Brahmana crashed to the ground and became motionless. Immediately the snake charmer, who was still possessed by Lord Anantadev, began severely beating the Brahmana very violently with a stick. The anguished imitator ran away screaming. Then the snake charmer resumed his own dance. Later, some members of the crowd cautiously approached the snake charmer and questioned him as to why he had so severely thrashed the apparently ecstatic Brahmana. In a scratching and humorous attack on the behavior of the envious Brahmana, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur summarizes and voices the Brahmana's foolish mentality. Due to their blind faith, whenever ordinary foolish people see or hear any dancing or singing in a pretty religious function, they offer abundant respect. Therefore, since people offered such respects to Haridas Thakur, who is an ordinary human being born in a non Hindu family, while I am born in the topmost Varna, in Hindu society, if I can imitate the characteristics and the right ecstatic transformations of a Vaishnava Thakura's love, like an actor on a stage, then no one can estimate how much profit adoration, and distinction I'll achieve. When people respect an ordinary human being, a non seminal Brahmana like Haridas Thakura, so much just by seeing his display of pretty ordinary emotions, then if I, the son of a seminal Brahmana, can simply
Profit. Simply mimic is transcendental.
mimic his transcendental emotions. I can't imagine how much profit, adoration, and distinction I'll receive. If I exhibit artificial emotions, then my insignificant material fame will certainly surpass the fame of the transcendental Vaishnavas. The snake charmer, still possessed by Ananta, explained the artificial and offensive display of the Shuddha Brahmana, contrasting it with the true ecstasy and greatness of Haridas. Out of audacity, he tried to imitate Haridas, and therefore I punished him accordingly. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur then poetically paraphrases the words of the snake charmer Ananta and comments further on this incident. Haridas Thakura is a non-duplicitous, transcendental, spontaneous, pure devotee of the Lord, while the pseudo Brahmana is an abominable Prakrita Sahajya, artificial imitation born of false rivalry with non-duplicitous pure devotees is the fraudulent uh, drama of hypocritical Sahajya. Since this Prakrita Sahajya tried to artificially imitate the activities of a Mahabhagavat Vaishnava Thakura out of envy and hate, and with a desire to cheaply acquire mundane fame from the foolish persons ignorant of the truth, I have sufficiently punished him. Basuki, in the form of a snake charmer, further explained. Actually, that arrogant and deceitful Brahmana has no love for Krishna. To achieve the devotional service of Lord Krishna, one has to be free from duplicity. One who sees Haridas dancing is freed from all bondage. When Haridas dances, Lord Krishna personally dances. Thus, the whole universe can be purified by seeing his dance. His name, Haridas, is appropriate for Lord Krishna constantly dwells in his heart. He is affectionate to all living entities and he is always engaged in their welfare. He accompanies the Lord whenever he incarnates. He is never offensive to Vishnu or the Vaishnavas, and even in a dream, he does not deviate from the proper path. One who associates with Haridas for even a fraction of a moment will certainly attain shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva always desire to associate with a devotee like Haridas on the order of the Lord. Haridas was born in a low class family to show that birth in a high caste or good family is useless. If a devotee of the Lord is born in a low class family is still worthy of worship. This is the verdict of the scriptures. And if someone is born in a high class family but does not worship the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, then his high birth is useless and he falls to hell. Haridas thus took birth in a low class family to prove the words of the scriptures. Haridas was born in a low class family. Just as Prahlad was born in a demoniac family, and Hanuman was born in a monkey family. The demigods desired the touch of Haridas, and even Mother Ganga desires that Haridas immerse in her waters. What to speak of his touch? Just by seeing Haridas, one is released from the bondage of fruitive activities. Indeed, even if one sees a person who has taken shelter of Haridas, he is freed from material bondage. If I glorify Haridas, for 100 years with 100 mouths, I would still not reach the end of his glories. You are all fortunate, for because of you, I received an opportunity to glorify Haridas. I assure you that one who simply chants the name of Haridas without offense will certainly attain the abode of Krishna. After glorifying Haridas Thakur in this way, the Vaishnava king of the snakes became silent, and those who were pious were fully satisfied. Hare Krishna. So I take three key points from today's reading. First is we should never imitate highly exalted, highly elevated Vaishnavas. We should never imitate them. Second is we should always we should always seek association of this kind of Vaishnavas who are highly elevated and who are always engaged in the service of the Lord, Supreme Lord Krishna. Because it's mentioned in the scriptures that sadhu sangha, sarva sastra kai labha matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. That labha matra, that word, the meaning is 1/14th of a second. I was hearing one day a lecture from Maharaj, and he mentioned there that this lava matra means 1/14th of a second. If we associate with highly elevated devotees and Vaishnavas who are always engaged in the service of the Lord, even for a fraction of second, will get purified. And the third key point is like the birth. It doesn't matter in which family you are born, whether it's low class or high class. If you are not engaging your life in the service of the Lord, in the service of Lord Krishna, then you are like it's useless, even though you are born in a high class family. So Haridas Thakura is the proof of that. The life of Haridas Thakura is the proof of that. Then life of Prahlad Maharaj, then Lord Hanuman. Prahlad Maharaj was born in a demoniac family, but he is such a great devotee of Lord Krishna. And like Hanuman, he was born in a monkey family, but such a great devotee of Lord Ram. Similarly, Haridas Thakur also was born in a low class family. He was born in a Muslim family, still always engaged in always engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord. So it's mentioned that even by seeing, forget about association, by seeing Haridas Thakur, people used to get purified. Oh, okay, that's my understanding.